All right, let's talk about it. That letter shows up, and your heart just sinks. That denial from Social Security, it feels like a punch to the gut. It feels so final. But I need you to hear this. It is absolutely not the end of the road. Not even close.
First things first, you need to know you are not alone. I mean, look at this number. 2/3 of all initial applications get denied. That's most of them. So take a breath. This isn't a personal failure. It's kind of how the system is built. They almost expect you to appeal.
So let's try to look at it in a different way. That denial letter, it's not really a no. It's more like a ticket to the next round. It's the official start of the appeals process. And believe me, this is where so many people actually end up winning their cases.
All right, so if you're going to fight this and win, you have to put on your detective hat. Seriously, your first job is to figure out exactly why they said no. And the good news is, all the clues you need, they're right there in that denial letter.
Generally, denials come in two flavors. You've got your medical denials. That's when the SSA looks at your health and says, we don't think it's severe enough to stop you from working. Then you have technical denials. This has nothing to do with your health. It's a problem with the paperwork, maybe you're earning a little too much, or you don't have enough work credits. Figuring out which bucket you're in is step one because it changes your entire game plan.
So if it was a medical denial, it's usually one of these big reasons. Maybe they feel like they just don't have enough medical records from you. Or they don't think your condition is severe enough. Or that it's going to last at least a year. A really common one is they think, yeah, you can't do your old job, but you could probably do something else. The great thing is, every single one of these is a problem you can tackle head-on in your appeal.
Okay, now I need you to lean in for this part because this is probably the most important thing I'm going to say. The moment you got that denial letter, a clock started ticking. You have 60 days to file your appeal. If you miss this window, it's a huge deal. You could lose your original filing date, which can mean losing out on months or even years of back pay. Do not miss this deadline.
So, you've figured out why you were denied and you've got that 60-day deadline circled on your calendar. So, now what? Well, the good news is you're not just wandering in the dark. There's a very clear, step-by-step roadmap for this whole thing, the 4 levels of appeal.
Here's the whole journey laid out. You start at level 1, which is called Reconsideration. If that doesn't work, you go to level 2, a hearing with a judge. Then there's the Appeals Council, and finally, federal court. Now, I want you to burn level 2 into your brain. The hearing. That's the one. That's where most people who get approved finally win.
Okay, so level 1, reconsideration. The best way to think about this is like asking for a second opinion. Your entire file gets handed to a completely different person, a new examiner who has never seen it before. And this is key, you get to add new stuff. Any doctor visits, tests, or records you've gotten since you first applied, now's the time to send them in. It's your chance to plug the holes from your first application.
All right, full disclosure, this number is not great. An approval rate of around 13%? Yeah, it's pretty low. Most people get denied again at this stage. But please do not let this discourage you. Think of this level as a stepping stone. It's a hoop you have to jump through to get to the next stage, the one that really, truly matters.
And here it is, level 2, the ALJ hearing. This is your Super Bowl. This is your single best shot at getting approved. And you want to know why? Because for the first time in this entire process, you're not just a stack of papers. You're a real person sitting in front of another real person, the judge, and you get to tell your story in your own words. It's a game changer.
And look, the proof is right here in this chart. Just look at that leap. You go from a measly 13% at reconsideration all the way up to over half, 51% approval at the hearing. If you ever feel like giving up, I want you to picture this chart. This is why you don't stop. This is why you keep fighting to get in front of that judge.
Okay, so that leads to the million-dollar question, right? How do you make sure you're in that 51%? Because you can't just walk in there and hope for the best. You need a strategy. You need to build a rock-solid case. So let's talk about how to do exactly that.
All right, let's get into the nuts and bolts. We're shifting gears now from just understanding the process to actually building your winning case. These are the powerful strategies you can use to turn that no into a yes.
If there's one secret weapon you can have in your arsenal, this is it. A strong, detailed letter from your own doctor, the one who actually treats you, is pure gold. Honestly, it can be the single most powerful piece of evidence in your entire file.
But, and this is a big but, it can't just be a note that says, "My patient can't work." That's useless. It needs details. It needs to list your diagnosis, sure, but then it has to connect them to your real-life limitations. We're talking specifics, like
cannot sit for more than 15 minutes, can lift no more than 5 pounds. And the real kicker? The doctor needs to give their professional opinion based on the medical evidence as to why you can't handle a full-time job.
Okay, I have to stop here and give you a huge warning. This is a massive mistake people make all the time, usually because they're just so frustrated. They get denied, they throw their hands up, and they just file a brand new application from scratch. Please, whatever you do, do not do this.
And here's why appealing is always the smarter move. First, you hang on to your original filing date. This is huge because it protects all the back pay you're entitled to, which can easily be thousands and thousands of dollars. Second, you keep moving forward in the line, closer to that all-important hearing. If you reapply, you go to the very back of the line, and you're probably just going to get denied again for the exact same reasons. You get stuck in a loop.
Now, let's talk about the hard part, the wait. I'm not going to sugarcoat it. The appeals process can be long. We're talking many months, sometimes even a year or more. So we have to be realistic and talk about the elephant in the room. How do you survive financially while you're waiting?
This is the time to be resourceful. There are programs out there designed for exactly this kind of situation. You've got SNAP for groceries, Medicaid to cover your health care, and even energy assistance programs to help with utility bills. A great starting point is to just pick up the phone and dial 211. It's a free service that can connect you to all sorts of local charities and nonprofits that might be able to help with things like rent or other essentials.
Okay, we have gone through a ton of information, so let's boil it all down. Let's make this simple and create an action plan. Here are 3 things you can do literally right now, today, to get started.
Step 1. Get that denial letter, find the date on it, and mark your 60-day appeal deadline on a calendar. Circle it in red, put a reminder on your phone, whatever it takes. Step 2. Read that denial letter again, but this time really read it. Find the exact sentence that explains why they denied you. Step 3. Find a local Social Security disability attorney and ask for a free consultation. Even if you want to handle this yourself, just talking to an expert costs you nothing, and they might spot something you totally missed. Look, this whole process, it's a marathon, not a sprint. It takes patience, it takes digging in your heels, but you can absolutely get through it. And it all starts with taking that very first step. So, now that you have the playbook, my question for you is, what's your first step going to be?